potential upgrades.
All right.
We're ready to roll. Full tripod tonight. Got a little
Tripod.
live mock draft rolling here with Ryan McDowell's DLF Dynasty Mock Drafts, a little QB1. We got 20 rounds rolling. We are at pick 6. It's already in progress, so we'll catch you up real quick. We got Kyle Pitts off the board, 1-1, youngest player in the draft, like Big Co pointed out here.
Other than rookies.
Other than rookies, seemingly. Then Jamar Chase went. Patrick Mahomes went. Franchise 5 really making a statement there. JT, 104. So they're just trying to manipulate ADP at this point, it seems.
Which I think this is for ADP, but
It does say mock DLF. I don't know. We shall see. But then Justin Jefferson went right before us, so we were on the clock. We went ahead and snagged DeAndre Swift. It was A.J. Brown, Najee Harris, and DeAndre Swift. You know, we're just in here mocking it up. Didn't want to get too carried away, so just went and grabbed and DeAndre Swift. I was first time we've done the DLF mock, and first time we've mocked it up on MFL here.
MFL.
And they could have made the draft button a little bigger. It looks like the same as all the other buttons.
If the clock was ticking, we would have really been under the pressure.
Super sweaty. So here we are, and let's just the clock's not quite running yet. I think they're getting everything set up.
They're just letting picks fire off the board.
Right. So anybody have a prop? Who else would you guys have taken there? Najee? Anybody? AJ Brown? What do you guys think here?
AJ Brown is a good pick for me. Like you said, 2 knee problems.
Rickety knees, is that a concern
He
at
said
20?
No meniscus having AJ Brown, but he's a stud.
Couple knee issues there. Had a double operation. The rumor is the meniscus issues, and so
Meniscus?
For somebody who's had that issue for a while and had a pretty bad knee injury, it doesn't get better.
No, but you still showed up every time we had to go between those lines, and you were the best defensive player on the field.
Flag football.
Flag football. But
I mean, every time AJ Brown's hit the field, for the most part, it's been gangbusters, and I don't if there wasn't that slight pause there, I would be 100% on board with saying, yeah, let's take AJ Brown. I'm still mostly on board, but gives me a little pause. I guess I gave Swift the slight nod because of just the much better offensive line situation that's going on with the Detroit Lions. There's a strong offensive line being built there. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers did just bring in James Daniel of the former Chicago Bears guard. So they brought him in. So we need to see a little bit more going on over there. I believe they re-signed another player off that line. So need to see a little bit more. Mitchell, is he the answer? All of a sudden, Mitchell's getting another shot here.
For me, if I'm staring there, we're at the 1-6, and all the guys that we wanted other than a quarterback had gone above Swift or Henry just went above Swift or Najee. For me, I got to take Swift over Najee just because for everything that Big Ben wasn't last year, he was as veteran as it gets, and he could check it down with the best of them. His arm was give out. Can Mitchell get Najee those 10 targets a game? They gave him all those fantasy points.
Yeah, 74 receptions, I believe.
If Mitchell comes in and throws the ball all the time to Najee, then I'll be happy to take Najee. But we know they don't have the best offensive line. We know they probably have a below average offensive line until they prove otherwise. And now they got to come out here with Mitchell, who, for all intents and purposes, I had him going with Dayball to the Giants. Well, it made perfect sense because he just got to see him for a year and say, hey, I can work with this guy. All of a sudden, boom, he's with the Steelers. To me, I think it was obvious, much clearer path to starting quarterback for Mitchell. So he's going to be like, yeah, I want to go to the Steelers. But I'm like, you had that fit with your quarterback, with your head coach over there with the Giants.
You're not going to get too many opportunities, so he went and took his opportunity.
I get it.
But it's just odd that, I've seen Mitchell play some pretty bad football.
seen him play some good football too.
But we've also seen him play some good football, and we don't know what was going on over there in the Bears. It seemingly Allen Robinson kind of was like, I'm good. Like, I'm kind of banged up. I'm not going to come back. Probably could have, but
when Nagy got Coach of the Year, it wasn't because Trubisky was just that a bad quarterback.
Right.
Trubisky was adding to that thing. He was running around, stressing the defense.
Right,
and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off of the offense.
That's what I felt like we lost with Trubisky that he needed to have to be good was some of that mobility to really make him hard to defend. Now Javonte Williams went after Derrick Henry and Najee Harris went after that. I didn't mention Javonte Williams in that run of players here, but Javonte Williams also very young. Talks of maybe Melvin Gordon coming back there. Javonte probably should have been in our discussion there. Thoughts on Javonte as this thing kind of gets rolling? We're in the early stages here, so we're not quite rolling here.
Right, the picks aren't rolling. I mean, obviously Russell Wilson coming in just brings you a notch or two above, a notch or four above where that offense had been sitting for a couple years. The potential, the floor is higher. The ceiling is way higher for that offense now for the Broncos. So, will Melvin Gordon stick around for one more year? This is a Dynasty Startup Mock, so you're looking out more than 1 year. Melvin didn't play bad at all last year. For everything that Javonte did good, Melvin did really good too. He does, not breaking tackles like that, but Melvin was breaking long runs and getting his thing.
The crowd and the fantasy people are in an uproar to give Javonte more, and it's like, I mean, listen, he's a veteran and he played well. Like, I mean, Javonte was really good, but I mean,
Javonte was really good, but Melvin was really good too.
Right. If Melvin's there, you're probably not getting your bang for your buck for Javonte Williams for where you're taking him right now, but he is at least pretty young and has shown sign of being good, and now is potentially tied to Russell Wilson for a while. And if you're bringing in Russ, you're hoping that you're going to finally they got Russ a professional kitchen. They're ready to let Russ cook. It's all stainless steel, state of the art.
It's set up. He's
ready to go, and we've been waiting for
Pots
so
hanging
long
down in the middle of the island
for so long to be like, God, this Broncos offense. They drafted it to compete with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They had KJ Hamler, who can explode. Now he's coming off an injury, but Tim Patrick's played well. They brought him back. They brought Cortland Sutton back. They have Jerry Jeudy on a rookie contract.
Tim Patrick has played very well.
Yeah, and so they have all these pieces. Now they did lose Noah Fant. They got Albert O. People are excited about that. So it's just a great offense. Offensive line is fine. Seemingly was decent by the end of the year last year.
Good or better than anything that Russell's had in a couple years anyway.
Right. I guess some of the thought with Russell Wilson is that has maybe, whereas some of these other guys are going to play for a while, Russell's been at the top of the leaderboard of sacks and hits every year. Will his career be quite as long as maybe Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady with the kind of punishment that he's taken?
Sure.
And can he get a little wiser? And but I don't think I'm too worried about that. I think Russ is going to, he's a dialed in guy. He's going to do what it takes to stay on the field and be good. Last year was just weird, man. Like, he got the injury.
Oh, his finger went crooked.
Right.
Was
playing okay, but it wasn't a comfortable situation in general.
Before the season started, he was trying to get out.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't wanna, that's what I mean.
So it was never really going to be great, and then his finger went crooked. So Russell Wilson tries to be that professional, and the Seattle are pretty. They couple back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, pretty good organization, great owner. Like, they didn't try to let too much get into the street. And then Russell Wilson took it to Dan Patrick, and it's just like, I got to make a change.
Right.
I got to make a change. So as much as there was a lot more going. There, smoke, there's fire. There was a ton of smoke. We just didn't see it.
Right.
We just didn't see it. So everything was going in the wrong direction for the Seahawks, and it was showing on the field. And then his finger goes crooked and the wheels fall off.
Yeah. So now we've got some more picks off the board. Javonte goes, Najee goes, Christian McCaffrey goes, Tyreek Hill at 111, and then great value on A.J. Brown here at 112. That's the Ryan McDowell with two back-to-backs here, so he grabs A.J. Brown.
Sure.
And we'll see what the next pick is here. Obviously Derrick Henry, that's way too high for me.
Yeah, Henry goes at 7. I can't do that.
And Patrick Mahomes, that's way too high for me.
Not even looking at a quarterback right now.
Other than that, do you have too many arguments with anything else going on in this first round? little slower than I thought it would be to get things rolling here. But
it's kind of nice, nice, especially a lot of times in these mocks, the clocks roll and you get away from these top studs. Like, you're not really going to make a bad pick. Did you really go wrong picking Patrick Mahomes? Probably not, but everybody knows in a one quarterback league, in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round, I'm gonna get somebody very, very close to the same type of quarterback.
You can't do that.
You could have went 3rd round, probably.
You probably could. You're probably getting Patrick on the next turn. And if you're dying to have a quarterback, you could definitely get him in the 2nd round. And if you miss him, what are you going to get stuck with? Josh Allen? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, and
Herbert,
yeah, you're not getting really stuck if you don't in one quarterback. And you could punt that thing a couple more rounds and get stuck with Lamar Jackson. You know, maybe the top, he could potentially score more points than anybody in fantasy this year coming up again. You know, and then a couple rounds after that, you can put some insurance on the team with a Jalen Hurts. You know, just there's so many ways to go about that.
Right. So, okay, he goes A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, who was an incumbent up there, probably a good bit higher there for the last year, has slipped down into the 2nd round. With Amari Cooper gone, I thought maybe he would have a little bit more juice to him. After Amari Cooper called Dak the Black Kirk Cousins, so they had to.
He did not.
He did so.
He did not.
That's the reports. So then Breece Hall goes, which we're starting to see it already, folks. We told you we're going to be here. Breece is going to be at the top, if not the bottom of the 1st, top of the 2nd, if not the bottom of the 1st in no time. And here we are.
Yeah, you got
toe knife. Kicking up the Breece Hall ADP. So I appreciate that.
There's a nice little Breece Hall video put out by the FF Dynasty boys. If you hadn't checked it out, go check it out. If we're still going to just slide our way through this 2nd round slowly, McDowell's A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb start.
Awesome.
That's pretty.
Yeah, that's
pretty
nice. That's just, you never would have thought that could be something that you could start your team with ever, as far as end of, on the 1-2,
right,
on the wraparound there, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good looking 1-12-2-1 combo platter right there. So if there's not another, since you got a whole video on Breece Hall, 110 Christian McCaffrey, talk to me.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, I love it.
I think he's when he's on the field, he's still the best fantasy asset going.
Absolutely love it.
That's a W most weeks if Christian McCaffrey stays healthy.
I got some Christian McCaffrey, and when he's hurt, the last 2 it has been a bummer, but that's the type of pick right there where for the last 2-3 years running, you're not getting that guy unless you're sitting at the top. You had to have the 1-1 to get Christian McCaffrey, and people were holding it with diamond hands, as they say on Twitter, stock market talk, and they you couldn't get him. So now he had got an injury. It's football. We see it all the time. Will he ever be,
I saw
back up in the 1-1 conversation? Probably not, because his age is not getting any younger. But last year, he played a couple games, 30 points a game.
I talked about this on maybe one of the last shows we did. I saw Jacob Rick Road or Rick or whatever it is.
It's Rick Road.
Always get that wrong. Kind of tweeting out like, hey, Saquon, Christian McCaffrey, sort of near a maybe Marshall Faulk trajectory here, where had a great back half of 26, had a couple knee issues leading up into 26, more so Saquon than Christian McCaffrey for his comparison purposes, but just because those are 2 elite assets, those are 2 elite generational type players, so
and
and Marshall
pass
Faulk,
catchers and route runners,
exactly.
Not just I need to be between, not a Derrick Henry where once that pure hand me the ball, let me go up the gut is gone, he's not going to have it.
Right.
Derrick
Once
Henry,
the Greek god is slain,
there's
not too much of a backup. You can't fall back on pass catching for the next couple of years. Not that he's a terrible pass catcher, but
one of the things that's gotten me I've been chasing the Matt Forte for half a decade, right? I've been chasing that guy that's going to be the RB1, RB2, RB3
in his 28-year-old season.
I've been looking for, because I grew up with the LaDainian. I grew up with the people that would just lasted forever. Those were you just kept running the running back. You kept giving it to them, and then when you get a couple of them that catch passes, and you started playing that half PPR 15 years ago, oh my God, I got half PPR, and I got running backs catching passes, cheat codes. I've been looking for that Matt Forte, and Christian McCaffrey or Saquon's going to do it. Might be Alvin Kamara.
Right.
Eckler. The way Eckler and Kamara take care of their bodies, like, it's going to be one of those guys. It could be 2 of those guys
It could be 4 or 5. Could be CMC. Could be Barkley. Could be AK. Eventually, it's going to happen again where you get some of those. And I was talking with Robbie Jeffries the other day. He sent me a chart. I wish we could pull it up right now about how running backs kind of fare out in their RB 1 through 5, RB 1, RB 2, RB 3 seasons throughout the age brackets, and it's like, by the time you get to 28, it's only 7% or so that still are producing at any of those levels, really, which makes sense because it's only the elite of the elite guys are going to continue to make it that far to be able to go any further.
Yeah, and some of the good ones get hurt, and that's the name of the game. That's why running backs are tough, and that's why it's hard to find them.
And recently, we've had a slew of injuries either before the season happens coming into this last season, or some of the ones that we were expecting to be great haven't quite made it that long with some terrible injuries here. So I think everybody who was super pro running back, as Big Co and us, kind of were, maybe you take a step back and you're a little taken back. Like, hey, maybe the wide receiver game is a little safer to go with. I'm going to always try to lean a little bit towards best player available here, but. Yeah, I think that's fair. And
we can never guess the next injury, but you know it's coming. You don't know who it's going to be, but it's the NFL, and it's going to be everybody. It's just going to happen to the running backs more likely than the wide receivers. And coming into last year's startup season, that's where I was headed. I was like, let me get a little less running back heavy and a little more most valuable asset, and then I'll build my team through trades because that's what I like to do anyway. But you give me Christian McCaffrey at 110, I'm not going to blink an eye. We wrap around there. How about just an example of somebody who couldn't get healthy, and then they did, and then they tore it up. Deebo Samuel.
Right. We'd seen it in chunks.
Nobody would have said, if you could have bet anybody any amount of money, that Deebo Samuel wasn't going to be a second-round startup pick next year, but let alone 2-3.
Right.
Deebo is a game breaker. He's a difference maker. And, obviously, Shanahan's probably like the perfect coach for him, obviously. But like most coaches wouldn't even have the balls to take that wide receiver and put him in the back.
Right.
They tried it a couple years back with Ty Montgomery and the Packers, and that was fun. That was it's like it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's different. And Deebo, here we go, 2-3. If he
there goes Jalen Waddle.
If he can stay healthy, let's go Deebo.
We got 2 picks till we're on the board. We should discuss.
Okay, boys.
All right, so Deebo goes, Cooper Kupp goes, and then Jalen Waddle goes. I would have been down with some Waddle there. That would have been okay with me.
We pick up at our board of tiers.
We got Devontae, T, DJ, Moore. Deebo would be in this tier. So those are kind of the receivers that I'd be looking at right now, and then running back.
DK.
Running back wise, CMC off the board.
I could definitely take DK Metcalf.
J.K. Dobbins.
Could take J.K.
Saquon, Gibson. Brees just went, so he moved up to the top of that tier there. So, we thought for a second.
And we're on the board.
Maybe we were McKissick-less over there, and all of a sudden not so McKissick-less over there in Washington.
Still probably a little too early for Gibson here.
Reneged on the Bills contract and shot back over for the same deal back to the Skins or back to the Commanders.
Oh, did he? He did the opposite of the Randy Gregory to the Cowboys.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So on the clock here, we could take Devontae. Eckler went.
He's gone.
DK gives us a nice young guy with a lot of questions, though. So
DK gives you the young stud, cannot even teach that type of body. Devontae Adams would give you the best wide receiver in the game. J.K. Dobbins gives you some of the highest upside with that if the Ravens could get healthy. Gibson gives you that pass catching ridiculous ability. Will they actually give him the ball and still
will they throw it to him enough?
What's going on with their
situation? I could say I would probably either take Devontae Adams here or Gibson or Barkley.
I don't want to take any of those.
Okay, who do you guys want?
I could be down with DK.
Okay. Two for DK? Let's take DK.
And JK. I think I want JK over Gibson at the moment.
All right.
But he's not coming off of a leg injury, so I guess it's the knee.
All right. Who you want?
Are we on? Is the clock actually?
No, it's not rolling.
It's not rolling. Okay.
They need to.
Yeah, right.
Be here all night.
Yeah.
Might only get 3 rounds of a live look in here.
That's all anyone cares about anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to keep the clock, I could go DK. I could
DK
go
or JK.
I could go.
DK.
Let's go DK.
All right.
I don't have any shares of him.
Let's go DK.
Gotta get that ADP
Just
up.
doesn't feel great. Just doesn't feel great taking DK Metcalf right now.
Well, don't take him. This is.
I already did.
You did?
Done deal.
Doesn't look like you did.
He has been selected. I found the draft button.
There it is.
It's been found.
So we took DK Metcalf. I don't feel great about it. I think I would have taken Devontae Adams and just gotten the sure thing for the next 2 years. But I really and honestly I would have liked a Gibson, a Barkley. I could have been okay with J.K.
J.K. Dobbins would have been fun. Gibson would have been fine.
So here goes T. Higgins. So
Saquon would have been a monster.
Corey's Spalla. He's picking up what I'm laying down. I like that T. Higgins. If you can't get Jamar Chase, why don't you get the next best thing in T. Higgins, who had absolutely murdered it down the stretch there.
Yes, he did.
So yeah, I mean, thoughts on why no Barkley, why no Gibson, why no Devontae?
I could be in on Gibson or Dobbins. I
So
wouldn't have been mad
if
at that.
McKissick wasn't there, would you guys have all jumped in on?
So what did y'all just say?
Gibson
I thought Gibson signed somewhere else. He's back though.
As far as I
McKissick,
know,
you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, McKissick was going to the Bills.
Right.
That's the last I heard. I didn't know he came back to
He came back?
Washington as well.
No. McKissick's out of there.
I swear to God, I read something one day, returning to Commanders one day after agreeing to 2-year deal with the Bills.
The fuck is that? I thought you couldn't get any worse.
If McKissick wasn't there, would you guys have been into Antonio Brown a little more, or
Gibson.
Antonio Gibson a little more?
A little more, sure. Just because of McKissick's role is to come in there and suck up some of those third down job, and
And I actually agreed with the Roto World blurb that they wrote up about that, where it was like the Commanders want to bring in somebody else, an early down back, who could take some of the workload off of Gibson between the tackles and keep him a little
let him
fresher,
do
get him
what
in
he
space,
might
get him the
be able to
receptions,
do.
which is what he did in college for the most part. Mm-hmm. But now that's all for naught.
Yeah.
But, I mean, McKissick's still old, and Gibson's getting better, and he did play through an injury, so he could come in fresh and be awesome. That'd be an awesome pick. Second round feels...
So are we out on DK, or are we out on Adams in the second round?
I'm not. I was just looking. Like, if you start, I'm pointing at this thing that the people
good.
can't see. If you
Point to the camera.
Yes.
We started
Happy
with
Steve Austin Day, by the way.
Could I get a hell yeah? Is it
March 16th.
316? Oh, nice. We got
Coming back.
We got DeAndre Swift at the first round. So you took a running back,
Right.
If you take like Ryan McDowell's over here with 2 young stud wide
Right.
receivers. So let's just say like Ryan McDowell doesn't have to be good this year. Like he's got 2 young studs. I'm not saying he doesn't want to be good, and I'm not saying he's advertising he's going productive struggle, which he named. Like, but if you take a running back in the first round, you're already pot committed towards you need to be trying to do something sooner than later because you know that you got a short shelf life with this stud running back.
Which is typically our approach. If I'm playing,
And
I'm
I'm
playing
fine
to
with
win
that.
to start up for the
I'm
most
fine.
part.
I'm playing to win. I'm not going to draft 3 30-year-olds in a row, but like a Devontae Adams, he has already been
Puts
the
you
best
pot
wide
committed,
receiver for a
too,
couple.
though.
Oh, it definitely does. It doesn't mean that you can't take some young studs. It just means that you just don't want to go gambling on a bunch of young guys that aren't good. You need to get
Right.
good players.
Sure things. You need sure things.
Sure things. It, again, doesn't have to all be 29-year-olds, but you can take Devontae Adams in the second round if you're. I can take Devontae Adams in the second round and feel perfectly fine with it. He's averaged 17 points a game because a couple years ago, Aaron Rodgers took a couple seasons off with broken collarbones, and so you can
forgot about that
just to throw it
collarbone.
back to Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was banged up here or there. He's probably about that same age as Aaron Rodgers. Decided like I'm not gonna run around as much.
Yeah.
So maybe Russell Wilson coming in 32 years old. It's like he sees Aaron Rodgers make it to 37.
Yeah.
A couple
Like
years
that.
ago, Aaron Rodgers' shoulders couldn't stay on.
We don't
So
see the too much A-Rod movement unless necessary to move the pocket.
he doesn't run around anymore. He's I'm good. He gets out of the way of defenders, but he's not just running around for
He'll
first
catch you
downs all
a
the time.
first down or two.
Yeah. So that's kind of like Devontae Adams, 17 points a game without Aaron Rodgers, and he's got a decent sample size because Aaron Rodgers missed a couple of big chunks of seasons. 17 points a game without A-Rod. That's as he's refining his craft. He is the best wide receiver, all-around wide receiver in the game right now in my eyes. And I'm totally down to take Devontae. And now Aaron Rodgers, obviously, he says he won't play on the tag. So this is one of those, you're mocking it up here. We're having fun. If this is a true, if you're starting up a $200, $300, $400 league where it really means a ton, and you're like, all right, well, Devontae might weasel his way out of there because if the Packers don't want to pay him like they should. Next thing you know, he's on.
Ain't letting that happen.
Yeah, right. He didn't come back saying,
to
not play with about exactly. I agree, but you don't want to see Devontae go and play with a bottom 5 quarterback in the league.
If A-Rod just got to kick him some of that Rodgers rate money, he'll this is off the books, homie.
So cut 2 picks later, Devontae goes anyway. Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, and Alvin Kamara paired up. Love that. What you think over there?
Well, still no J.K. Dobbins off the board here.
Coming back around.
So maybe we can squeeze him in there. And then the next tight end goes Chubb and Dalvin. What do you got, Big Co? I see you getting
and then
excited
Mark Andrews.
What's a good point? But between the love for the wide receivers that we knew we were going to see, when we were on the board looking at Metcalf, I was thinking when we were talking about Dobbins or not, hey, one of these running backs we like are going to make it back to us. So that's why I was like, let's take DK.
Yeah.
Not that a good wide receiver wouldn't make it back. That's again like this,
maybe DK could have trickled down a little bit because of the uncertainty with everybody
probably
else, but probably not making it
to
back.
3.5, or 3.6. But I mean, this is one of those things, and I say this every startup season. You got to get in here and count your players and figure out where, like, no matter what, these picks aren't messed up. They're just jumbled in different orders, and you're like, oh, I think this is better value than that, or this is better value than that. But in the first, 42 players or whatever, if you give me no matter, and then it always happens, you think you give the room too much credit, you give the people you're drafting against too much credit, but you're like, all right, I got 42 players on my list and I want as many of those players as I can get. Right. And then when you're in the draft and people are reaching, and all of a sudden those 42 players make it 57 spots. There's 15 players drafted in front of players you wouldn't. I'm like, I would never draft that player over those players.
Yeah.
So like all of a sudden, in the middle of the 4th round, you have in the middle of the 4th round player, but you're in the early 6th round worth of value in the draft.
Out of those 42 players, to get to where you want an extra one or two, you need 12 mistakes to get an extra one of those guys, which is almost. Shouldn't say it's guaranteed because everyone you almost you get in some, you can get in a room with some pretty sharp guys.
You want to be for fun,
But I mean,
hone your skills.
A lot of the times you are right. You're probably given the room. Somebody might cut your heart deep because you were one pick away from getting the guy you really you were torn between on the last 2.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that's a really good point of being, hey, you just need a couple of mistakes in there to be able to grab certain guys. And it's not that you're not going to make mistakes, because I mean we did this last year in an FFPC 250 startup, and I forget. Oh, it was Cooper Kupp. It was Cooper Kupp. We should have taken Cooper Kupp, I believe, in like the 10th round or something stupid.
Dude, I traded away Cooper Kupp last
year
in the league.
We did take Debo.
Still won the championship.
We did take Debo. But we missed on Cooper Kupp.
We could have had them both.
We missed on Tyler Lockett as well, who had some up and down, but was pretty solid. But then we hit on Hollywood in those later mid rounds, like the 9th, 10th, 11th.
We fucked up, didn't take Kupp, and still won.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
And took Christian McCaffrey with our first pick and Darren Waller with our 3rd pick.
Hey, sometimes you just ice cube
IR.
this thing
And
and
still fucking won.
mess around and get a triple double.
Patreon.com/the FF Dynasty.
Hey, we had to battle for it.
Laquan Treadwell, baby. 10 a game
Davis.
for the last few weeks.
And I think we still have Mitchell on that team. We picked up
We
Mitch
do have
Trubisky
Mitchell.
late.
Absolutely.
We got Mitch Trubisky on 2 big money.
We got Mitchell in a Superflex league for $1.
Yeah.
He was sitting out there. I was like, we got to put him on the squad.
So Mark Andrews goes. I can't really knock you on that one. That's probably pretty solid value. But Cook and Chubb, 3rd round, end of 2nd. Thoughts on that? And Diggs really too. Diggs I feel like is a hard to place guy, as well as Dalvin Cook probably needs to slide down a hair for me yet, just because there is a little unresolved off the field stuff going into that 26, 27-year-old season.
That nobody is talking about or ever looks like it's affected on ADP.
And then thoughts on Nick Chubb. Like, Seems like he just always gets the little bit of a snub, which we were in a little bit of a rebuild team last year, and we decided to get off of Chubb because it just seems like he was always the asset that kept just getting pushed down a little bit.
Sure.
And we wanted to try to get as much as we could. Great when he's out there. Not much of a pass catcher necessarily. Not that he can't, that they just don't really do it.
They don't even try. But when they do, when they just toss him one over there, he always breaks a tackle and he runs for. It's like, dude, just maybe he's not going to line up in the slot.
Right.
Sure, he's not Alvin Kamara, but you can still toss him a couple, just like they do with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's not out there splitting out wide, but every time they throw him a little screen or hit him in like just a little flare out over here as an afterthought. Yeah, it's a pass. We're not there. Oh, God, Derrick Henry's got it. Oh, Nick Chubb's got it in space.
Right.
He didn't have to get through the tackles to do something, which he does very often. I love Nick Chubb. He does hold you back a little bit with the value that you had to put into him in a PPR league.
Seems like
if it's half PPR, he's much more valuable because he's not collecting those easy catches.
And it seems he can get those touchdowns taken away. Like they do throw Hunt down in there at the goal line. They don't. It isn't just like strictly
they give Hunt
time.
an entire drive, but then he gets the 2-minute drill. Hunt gets the 2-minute drill.
Right.
Hunt gets the 3rd and longs where there's pressure and all of a sudden there is a dump down. Hunt gets all those. Hunt's a stud too.
Right.
Nick Chubb is an absolute monster. He's he's probably like a top 2 running back in the league as far as vision and getting through and being hard to tackle and breakaway speed.
All right,
he's
so we're
one
up.
of the top.
We're up. Didn't mean to cut you off there. We're up. Deontay Johnson. Any interest there?
Yes.
Let's consult the board over here.
Who just went? Because it takes a minute for me.
DJ Moore, Treylon Burks, and Antonio Gibson just went, as well as Joe Mixon.
Treylon, huh? Right before we pick.
So,
I mean, it's Saquon.
J.K. Dobbins is still there, right?
Yep. Saquon's
got to be on the board. J.K. Love
I feel like we should probably take Dobbins. We can throw him over there. J.K. Dobbins. I think it's Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore. I don't know how you feel about if Scary Terry's making it in there. Probably not quite yet.
I have been obviously not around on the podcast in a while, and I have been waiting to get back on the mics and just be like, yes, I love Deontay Johnson. He's got a lot of Stephon Diggs in his game, and just
you feel good about Mitchell now.
Now we got.
Give me J.K. Dobbins.
Let's take
there was
J.K.
so many. Let's take J.K. Keep moving. There was so many different options coming in for the ceiling for Deontay Johnson. It could have been Jimmy G, but he doesn't throw all over it. Jimmy G's an inside
Jimmy
numbers
G
guy.
would have been great for him though. For Deontay, seems like his game is kind of built for Deontay Johnson. Now I do think there is. Long game of Deontay Johnson we haven't quite seen yet.
That's like the Aaron Rodgers to Steelers potential that was there a month ago. The
Deshaun.
Russell, like those things that could have happened. Those top guys that could have came in and been like, hey, you got Deontay's my guy now. All right, but we got Mitchell.
Well, that's what makes DJ Moore if he ends up in the
sure.
Deshaun sweepstakes.
Right. So DJ Moore left on the board here. We didn't take Deontay Johnson. DJ Moore on the board. Godwin, probably no injury. I think would have been an auto pick right there.
No doubt.
Well,
should Godwin have been in the consideration there more?
Because Tommy's there.
But he's
back.
Such a late injury.
Right.
So
you're probably halfway through the season before
Tommy
you're
ain't
Godwin
coming back again. So but Godwin's a stud anyway. But Tommy ain't coming back. I did take Tommy when the Superflex mock the other night when I had 6 quarterbacks. Tommy was my last pick.
I saw that.
Throw that out there.
Ridiculous 6 quarterback draft.
I could trade for anybody I want. I could slay that league if we just convert that into a real league right now.
What is Godwin's on the franchise tag?
Godwin's on the franchise tag. Yep.
And they haven't given him. They have till July 15th, I guess, to work out a long-term deal, so that he could potentially be a free agent next year.
Yeah.
As Tommy
I
leaves.
think you probably would let him be a free agent if Tommy's leaving. You just clear the books.
Let him go. Something you love. Let him go. See if it comes back to you.
So that's a good point, though. We are drafting. There's still some cogs and wheels that haven't been decided that would change the trajectory of some of these picks and move guys up, move guys down. This is non-tight end premium, only one quarterback. I wish they would turn the clock on.
Yeah,
so we
please.
can move this thing along here. But hey, that's okay. We can talk. I'm fine with talking. You guys only are going to give a shit about 4 or 5 rounds anyway. So if that's all we get out of an hour, then fuck it.
Well, before they stopped caring, then this time I saw somebody as soon as Tommy came back, they were talking about, and of course I'm thinking, hey, last night or was 2 nights ago, before I took Tommy in the last round, this dude on Twitter is like he just gets grabbed up immediately in the slow drafts that are going on and best balls and those types of things right now. If you're in a slow draft dynasty startup this time of year, every time it's your pick, you have to use the entire clock. You do not. There's so many things moving.
Right. Good call.
There's so many things in motion right now. Wide receivers going there. Quarterbacks getting traded. Running backs do it. Like, you don't know. There's so much going on. Like, you just have to know. You have to get as much information as you can before you make that pick. And you have to take all your time to do it. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how mad people get. Don't worry about it.
Would you have rather had Saquon Barkley there? Because last time we went through, I said I would have Barkley. I kind of said him before J.K. Dobbins. I'm still on one more trip around the sun with Barkley because of what can be.
I heard you in the mock last week saying that, and I completely agree. I got no problem going another trip with Saquon. Like you said, if it works out, you in the middle of the 3rd round, you just took a guy who just is
like CMC
a great running back, but also is a great pass catcher.
For years.
You have it's to be determined. I mean, J.K. Dobbins can be a monster and he can score fantasy points. Nick Chubb can be a monster and he can score fantasy points. Those guys, but they're not. Maybe one time in their career might score a 40-point fantasy game, but like a Dalvin Cook and an Alvin Kamara, those guys that can catch passes too.
Saquon.
And Austin Eckler gets you 40 every once in a while. The Saquons and the Christian McCaffreys, they just there's those guys that can get both.
His rookie year, crazy.
So you're taking that gamble for sure because of the recent injuries. But if it hits, it can hit bigger than the other hits. Right. So that's your championship piece if it works.
Slight age difference, especially with running back. So a year or two can really matter for you. So, but Barkley, man, the upside is, like you said, is unlimited right there if it gets back to where it is. And I think the reason that J.K. Dobbins is even down this far is you're maybe worried about a little bit of Lamar doesn't necessarily check down to the receiver or the running back, so you're not really necessarily it's certainly nobody. I wouldn't be shocked. I want to see Lamar Jackson start checking down to the running back more, just to prolong his career because he needs to.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe he'll figure that out here sooner than later.
And that's what, leading up to JK's injury, that's what they were saying he was doing. That's what they were trying to get going. The preseason, we didn't even say J.K. Dobbins take a snap. It was, this is what we're going to work. We're working on, and we all, laughed it off, but that's what they were saying. Hey, we're working on we're working on some checkdowns, working on some screen game, working on Lamar throwing it to the running backs, and then they all got hurt in a week. But
that offensive line for the Ravens is banged up. They lost their top 2 running backs. They still had Lamar, so this is an offense that easily moves the ball, can get in the red zone a lot. J.K. Dobbins is a game breaker. He could take it from anywhere on the field and knock you out. So J.K. Dobbins, if he could just catch, the market share is completely available there without the pass catching. If you get the pass catching with J.K. Dobbins, he's shooting to the moon.
And you have the wisdom effect too now coming in with Lamar, right? His athleticism is so far off the charts as he gets another year older. He's had the injury. A lot of times you get that guy who had the injury and now they had to watch football from the sidelines for a couple of weeks, and it takes them, misses the playoffs. Oh, wow. They could have won, not that they were favorites, but Lamar Jackson can beat any team any day. Now maybe he's like, I'm still a beast. I'm still the best athlete on the field. And now with the defense, it has to watch the best running quarterback in the history of the game. And then if he starts throwing it to J.K. Dobbins or even handing off, like they had nothing at running back last year with all the injuries, you bring in that talent, the upside for Dobbins is extreme. And if he did get 3 catches a game, just give me those points.
Wisely humbled a little bit by, hey.
That's what I mean. And you get a little older too.
Speaking of humbled, like Lamar doesn't have a contract, They got to extend him, right? But they've been dragging their feet.
He played last year for the love of the game.
He doesn't have an agent.
His mom. Him and his mom do it together. I'm not saying it's right, but you got to at least that goes into I think I heard this on the radio about how like he's just being, he's a kid at heart and this and that, but it's like he played last year where anybody with an agent would have been like, yo, you are so valuable. We can't let you step back on that field because you are about to get $150 million.
Right.
Let's lock this in right now. And Lamar's like, yeah, it'll happen next year. I'm good.
Yeah.
And it's still going to happen. And he probably didn't hurt himself by a single dollar bill because of what the Ravens have to do. The talking heads are like, yeah, he lost money because he got hurt. He's going to get so much money. But, I mean, you got to love Lamar Jackson. And I just feel like as in the next year or two, you're going to see some of that. I think you hang on to that love of the game, and then you bring in some of that years worth of reps with the NFL now, where you're playing against the best of the best on defense, whereas in college you just ran past everybody.
Right.
So to get you guys caught up, right? We took J.K. Dobbins. Barkley goes right off the board, right? We were discussing him. You brought up the 90 receptions his rookie year. He had 121 targets for 91 receptions, 721 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Gotta get back to that.
That's like a wide receiver 3 plus a running back in your to go with 261 carries, 1,307 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So
Saquon.
If you can get back to that, if he was doing that, he wouldn't be a third-round pick.
This is a game that everybody forgets how good's you're good quickly.
Fast.
Then Deontay Johnson falls off, so he was in our discussion of who to
take. last go around, T and a couple other guys are right there. Now we're right here. DJ Moore goes, and
then Cam
Saquon,
Akers, Elijah Moore,
another guy,
Chris Godwin.
So
McDowell takes 4 wide receivers.
McDowell starts off with 4 wide receivers.
I like that team.
I like Elijah Moore, and who else did he take?
Chris Godwin.
So he gets the cheap discount Godwin. That's just value. That's straight up strong, really great value right there. Now you're probably gonna be half the season before Godwin's back to Godwin.
Kenneth Walker or Godwin. Let me get Kenny 3 sticks. Is that too much? That's hot. You couldn't trade Chris Godwin for 1-3 right now, or 1-2 or 1-4, right? You can't trade Chris Godwin for a top 4 pick, can you?
I think you probably could to the right owner. Although if you're picking up there for the most part, unless you had a bad season, you don't want that.
Good point.
Want that injury and then a half a year and then see what happens, see where he ends up.
Don't have the patience for that. Yeah.
Instead, you're getting Kenny Walker, who comes in and is if you like Kenny Walker, is coming in with some juice.
How could you not like Kenny Walker? I don't understand the people that don't like Kenny Walker.
So team build, that team right there with the 111, they got Tyreek Hill and then 3 young running backs. If those running backs hit, Tyreek Hill's a monster on your team.
Right.
If you got Cam Akers, which looked good through the playoffs, coming back from the injury, Breece Hall looks like the 1-1 in the all rookie drafts, and after that combine compared with what he also did in college. I don't know much about Kenny 3 Sticks yet, but
he's a beast.
If
that's all you need to know.
If those running backs work
facts.
out, that's good looking starting lineup with Tyreek Hill, and if they don't work out, now you're trading your top for pick in the draft.
So, I mean, I guess I don't necessarily love the build. I think that's maybe kind of where you were going because of the disparity between you kind of have to get some things. But Tyreek will have value enough to get rid of him if you need to.
You just got to make that decision. You need to make that decision this year.
Right.
You don't want to let Tyreek Hill get a year older while you're trying to figure out we've seen it a million times. Well, this running back's about to come in and do work. What if they gets hurt? That's
Right.
Like Cam Akers did this year. He was on a lot of teams. Hey,
Hold that thought. We're up.
Yep. Oh, we're up.
All right.
All right. So let's see. Kenny Walker went, then Josh Jacobs, boom, Josh Allen, Garrett Wilson, another rookie off the board, and David Montgomery. Great pick there.
Strong pick there.
As he goes 4 running backs to start the draft off.
CJ Spiller.
You mean
Isaiah Spiller.
Isaiah Spiller.
Jerry Jeudy.
I'll definitely take CJ Spiller right here.
St. Brown. Scary Terry.
I could take Scary Terry for sure.
Who's the best running back left?
Mixon.
Mixon's gone.
Mixon's long gone.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad, dude. My bad.
All good.
Zeke. Is Dalvin gone?
Dalvin's gone. AK's
down
gone.
to 212. Right.
So we're getting to the bottom barrel of running backs. So we're not hurting for running backs. We feel okay with running backs here. Mitchell is on the board.
If you can get 2 stud running backs in your first 3 picks, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can't ask for too much more than that.
I think I lean probably Scary Terry or Jeudy here.
I gotta take Terry over Jeudy.
Yeah.
All right.
Me too. What are the Commanders going to do at quarterback?
They got Carson.
Oh, right. they traded for Carson. So at least it's not a step down, not a huge. I guess it's probably a decent step up from Tyler Heineke. And Terry's a beast. So we might get a little unrestricted free agent, Terry.
Well, this is without a doubt the best quarterback that Terry McLaurin's ever had.
Yeah, no doubt.
We were hoping for Ryan Fitzpatrick last year. We didn't quite get it. We got Carson Wentz this year, who, played pretty well for the Colts there, and I think Irsay was just salty they didn't get in. You got an unvaxxed guy who probably didn't help himself there by not being available for the team when they needed him. Now, he didn't miss a start, but he missed practice and could have, if they maybe he doesn't miss practice because of that kind of deal. Maybe you're not as upset with him. Maybe, you don't lose that game coming into there. It's a tough week. And then you have the Jacksonville game where he doesn't play great, but it's also silly to me that it seems like a lot of the blame gets tossed on Carson Wentz, where Carson Wentz, played pretty conservative all season, but wasn't bad. Yep. Like, the rest of the team didn't show up at Jacksonville either. Like, the defense let Jacksonville score. Mm-hmm. Like, nobody else showed up. And I'm not necessarily defending Carson Wentz, but I think it's more of a locker room problem with Carson Wentz, whereas it's probably a divided locker room as far as I could tell. That half people seem to like Carson Wentz, half the people for whatever reason don't like Carson Wentz. And then I think the Colts' big issue was Irsay was super shitty, super salty after they didn't get into the playoffs. And there was a report, I guess, a video of him off his plane being all upset about Carson Wentz. And I'm not done with Carson Wentz by any means necessarily. I think kind of got shown the door here twice in a row. I'm not defending Carson anymore, but I think this is a decent move for the Commanders. I mean, you kind of struck out. You shot your shot on a bunch of other guys, and he was your consolation prize.
Yeah, you got to cheat. Can't be upset. You
can't win with an ugly quarterback. I'll just leave it at that. We should have taken C.J. Spiller. We should have taken Isaiah Spiller. I was about to say that, and then I looked up, and you already took Terry.
Or Drake London.
Yeah, let me get Spiller. Or Drake, I guess. Yeah. I could see you taking Drake, but let me get Spiller. It's just like the running back's about to be drying up. We do have two, but
right. Finishing up with the Colts thing, I just feel like the Colts upper brass was upset with some things that Carson Wentz did to not maybe put the team in the best situation to win.
Bad upper brass, maybe.
And pissed him off, and so they shipped him out. I don't know if it was necessarily a Frank Reich call, because a lot of people were like, well, Doug Peterson got rid of him, and now Frank Reich got rid of him, and those were his two guys.
It's a good point about not necessarily being his call. Between the COVID stuff and missing practice time and missing this, for Carson, like you said, for the most part, he's playing really good quarterback. But then those handful of the plays, really bad plays spots here and there, and one of those picks that they were playing this week after the trade, he got hit and he was trying to throw it up and over the defender. And if that and it went straight to the defender. I think it was a Niner. I'm playing against the Niners, maybe. But
Tennessee.
Not that play. Not that was a really bad play. But if he'd have got it up and over, the dude was standing wide open in the end zone, and it would have been like one of those career type. It would have showed on every time they ran a highlight tape of Carson Wentz. That play would have been there. But instead of getting it up and over the defender, the ball got loose coming out of his hands, and he threw it in the defender's gut. And now it's going to be on the worst highlight, the low lights every time. But that was a game changing play. And those are bonehead plays.
Yeah. So I liked Scary Terry with Carson Wentz here. I like Rivera with Wentz. I think you can manipulate that and think it's a decent movement for the Commanders. I don't think they're too far off from being good. They need okay quarterback play, and I think Carson Wentz can get him there. But you're right. I would have been fine with Isaiah Spiller there. I would have been fine with London Drake there. I would have been fine with.
I forgot about E.T.
Or Drake London, rather. I would have been fine with Jerry Jeudy. E.T. Didn't mention his name, but I kind of like what the Jags are doing.
A little too early there for Elijah Mitchell.
But I'm going to hit a quick bathroom break. You guys keep it moving live. And I want to talk a little Jags when we get back, or when I get back.
Keeping it moving live. Casey's out of here. Jay Wayne, why is it too early for Elijah Mitchell?
I mean, it just feels like it, right? It just feels like it's a bit of a gamble. Like
here's I get it, and I felt it earlier. I felt it earlier in the offseason. I mean, the offseason hadn't been that long, but for us, we never quit. The Niners gave up their picks for the quarterback. So now they're stretching the rest of their draft picks through the drafts of the next 2 years because they don't have first-round picks because they gave them up for Trey Lance. They're going to get something for Jimmy G, obviously. But when Elijah Mitchell was healthy, he was the everything past week 5 or 6.
Didn't catch a ton of balls.
He was the when CJ Wilson was healthy, he couldn't even get back in there this past year when Mitchell was good. Mitchell was banged up, and when hey, he's not right, some other guys got some run. When Mitchell was right again, bang, right back in there, 20-something carries. Even like he was questionable, hadn't practiced all week. Probably
that was all season
that one
long
week,
too,
That 1 week that it was like, yeah, Mitchell's probably not going to go. He doesn't look good, and I threw C.J. Wilson as a dice roll top end type, boom bust play in a couple lineups that week. He didn't even touch the ball. 0, maybe 1.3 or something because Mitchell got everything. And it's just like
it did seem like they trusted him and they
we
wanted
know
him, but
that
he stayed hurt. All the 49ers running backs stay hurt.
They have had some bad luck in the last couple of years with some running back injuries, but
they'll probably take another guy late in this draft. A lot of good depth in this draft, in the 22 NFL actual draft.
Sure, but that same, that's the guy that they took last year late, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park with Mitchell. So it's not like they need to go back. They know they're going to run the ball, and especially if they bring this year coming in, it's like, all right, well, Trey Lance, Jimmy's gone. They're going
to run the hell out of the football for at least the first couple of weeks.
So many rush attempts. I'm on board bringing it back around with Mitchell this year. Maybe in the 4th round it feels rich, but if you look at the other running backs though, past that, once that that boy's going to dry up quick.
They're dry.
And if
Isaiah Spiller's still out there.
You hit on that Mitchell pick right there, and one of the best running back positions in the league. In that,
you got to look
20 targets last year.
Not a whole lot of targets, and you got to look at Trey Lance maybe taking a little bit of the touchdown upside away from Mitchell. And I think Sermon gets on.
Think
the field
about
somewhat.
the gaps, the holes that those running backs get anyway through that offense. Yeah. Now you got Trey Lance. Once Trey Lance comes out there,
well, you got to get first downs too, though. So
Trey Lance is going
to get.
All right, we're up.
A raw rookie.
We're up, boys. We're up.
Whoa.
Another issue.
There goes your 5th round pick, Lamar Jackson. The value over him versus Patrick Mahomes. What I was talking about.
The other problem with Mitchell for me is because we got him. We were so on him last year. We got him so cheap, and now his value just through the roof. It's hard to pay.
Yeah.
That
Definitely.
for him after the fact. It's like I already got him free. Now let's recycle. Like we got to take Isaiah Spiller.
Spiller or St. Brown.
Spiller. Let me get the running back. How you feeling about St. Brown over there, Big Co? Shooting up the boards. This would be, what are we, in the 5th round? So not top 50 in this?
No.
So
I'll take Isaiah Spiller, yeah. Let's go. I might advocate for St. Brown here.
You're the Lions resident, Big Co.
Oh, I'm taking Darren Waller here.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
okay,
no doubt.
New name in the.
Put me one down. I'm taking my man Darren Waller. I'm looking at. Not that St. Brown's a question mark, but when I get in that line of okay, I'm gonna be happy with the next 15 wide receivers, and
let me get a running back.
We got a couple running backs. Let me get Darren Waller.
We have a decent amount of running backs, but I can get down with this to keep it moving. We'll take Spiller.
You take Spiller and see if we get Darren Waller on the way back around.
Waller just went next pick off.
Wow.
So I think you were right on there. I think if we were in a real draft, there was time slowed down. I think we would have. I think you could have easily
traded back there.
Talked me into taking Darren Waller because I think that's a really strong pick. There's just 100 targets over there for Darren Waller.
Sure.
Now we're switching to McDaniels, but I mean McDaniels is probably going to use his best asset moving forward, which is going to be Darren Waller. And he missed some time really opening it up for Hunter Renfrow to really blossom. Mm-hmm. But if anybody knows how to use white lightnings, as you know, McDaniels certainly knows how to use crafty lunch pail hard hat white guys.
I completely agree. Yeah, I saw. Was it a tweet that somebody put out about McDaniels and the fact that how many snaps is Renfro's about to get?
Waller. Good call with the Lamar Jackson value there too.
Good call, Rybread. You're talking about Jeff Wilson, not C.J. Wilson. for the
My bad.
Niners running
Way
back.
to look that up. Way
a
to
few
look that
minutes
up.
ago.
Way to look that
Someone
up.
commented that. Shout out to Rye Bread. Rye Bread.
He said get it right, Big Co. You gotta.
He asked nicely. Said, does he mean Jeff Wilson? Did I have
Jeffrey.
it mistaken? I like
Jeffrey.
that. That's the best way of telling someone they're wrong. Is being like, are you sure you meant that?
Am I fucking up?
That's polite. You know, it's like, it's like a nice way. Another nice way of telling someone that, that's what you're going with.
Yeah.
It's a nice way of being like, don't do that. That's what you're gonna go with.
Love it.
I think on that last pick, I could have been down with Waller or St. Brown, but Spiller's a nice pick there because running backs are dry.
Ezekiel Elliott's still on the board.
Zeke is still on the board.
Aaron Jones, great pick. Great pick.
Aaron
I don't
Jones
hate
over
it.
Dylan still.
Well, just look at that team build, right? You got Najee Harris, okay, young stud. Some say not that young.
Kelsey, Allen,
Cup
boom.
and Kelsey, bang bang. Cup and Kelsey. We're going to the playoffs. Josh Allen,
Boom.
Leave no questions about it. My starting lineup's going because you can find wide receivers to start. You got one of the
You
top.
got two of them with Cup.
You got the best tight end, and you got one of the best quarterbacks, and you got Cup, one of the best wide receivers right now as far as points, and you got Harris, and then now you can throw Aaron Jones in there.
RB2.
That guy right there. Team 9. You don't want to play him week 1.
Yeah,
he's going to blow your ass out of the water.
Definitely, just regardless of if you win or lose week 1 or not, it's just not a fun lineup to see week 1. You're like, damn.
You don't want to play that guy.
You going through the lineup, you're like, oh, okay, where's the damn?
You talk about
Where's my
his
which one
weakness
am I
at?
winning?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not beating Josh Allen, and I'm not beating Kelsey. So he's got me on quarterback and tight end before we even take the field.
Should we have taken Kittle?
Oh, I didn't realize he was still out.
We
there.
haven't been looking at tight ends.
We hadn't even been. But Waller is my go-to. If I don't know who to pick and he's still on the board, I'll take Waller. Just keep it moving. But as far as week 1, if team 7 is healthy in week 1, you got Derrick Henry, Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, and David Montgomery and Waller, a couple of wide receivers and a value quarterback, and that's a heck of a starting lineup. Derrick Henry in the first round's not my thing for a dynasty startup this year. Really wasn't on it last year either as far as a dynasty startup. More of a let's let it roll 1 year at a time redraft kind of Derrick Henry guy. But that is a nice looking starting lineup if he's healthy.
Man, I could have taken Kittle where we took McLaurin.
Yeah. Yeah, we're mocking it up. We're live here. We're running a lot of things and looking over a lot of things. We don't have tight end tiers built. We're drafting off some tiers that we have built here. So there goes TJ Hawkinson. So let's go back here through some of these picks. We got a little bit of time before we're up here. Devonta Smith went, Mike Evans went, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper 5-3. Any thoughts on any of those guys? Devonta Smith, obviously, me and Jay Wayne pretty big fans of Devonta Smith here. Mike Evans gets Tommy back for a year. Amari Cooper goes to the Browns. Thoughts on any of those guys?
I mean, unless the Browns get Deshaun, that's no fun. And then what happened with Baker? Like, what is going on with the Browns? I would really like this Deshaun Watson saga to be over. Just give me a new team to root for, please. Go Tigers.
So what do we think about that cluster of guys there? I mean, I
like
guess
Spiller over all those guys.
I don't really hate Amari Cooper to the Browns. It seems like he should get his. I mean,
Jarvis is out of there.
Jarvis is out of there. I think Cortland Sutton in the 6th round is a strong pick.
Like it. I mean, the Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper. I feel like last year that was another round down. But I mean, give me Keenan Allen over Amari Cooper now.
Okay.
When it happened right there, pick back to back. If I got to pick one of those guys, I mean, obviously Keenan's a couple years older, but I got Herbert and Keenan Allen. Where sometimes it's not gonna be every game, but Keenan Allen's a freaking 15 target guy.
Yeah,
and
got 2 years of difference between Amari and Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen is, to me, in that 5th or 6th. This is early 5. Every draft is different, but in that 5th or 6th round, he's that just such a great starting player, anchor, PPR machine. Some of these guys, I say it all the time. Like some of these guys, like the you might take a guy. Some of these rookies, Wilson in the 5th round, right there, the 4th round. Garrett Wilson, that guy's not going to be in the starting lineup most likely early. But, you got somebody like that, but you get a Keenan Allen in the 5th round. That Keenan Allen's in your lineup every week.
Or even better, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is what he got before Keenan or after Keenan.
After Keenan,
board.
Obviously,
I got to take St. Brown before all those guys that we just talked about.
Yeah, that was a steal on St. Brown there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we know no landing spots on any of these guys, but you're right. Garrett Wilson may be a guy that you're a little scared to play week 1, depending on where he lands.
Yeah, I mean,
in the chat here, Big D, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Big D asks, he wants to know where Big Company is on Hawkinson's value.
I mean, a big fan of Hawkinson. Obviously, Matt Stafford's not a line anymore.
We're on the clock,
boys. With Hawkinson still.
Big Company going way back. Shout out to the OG, back. Big D.
We are on the clock here. We got Zeke on the board, I believe. We got Kareem Hunt on the board. Most of the rookie running backs are gone. We got Claypool. We got Hollywood, I believe. All the big-time rookies are gone. Olave just went. Devonta Smith is gone.
Jameson.
Duke's gone. Jameson Williams is available. What are we thinking here?
We just took a rookie, so that's kind of a bummer.
Well, this is the zone where you can grab a rookie or two here, and then you can lay up those veterans. I think between Hollywood and who was the guy you said right before we got Hollywood?
Jameson Williams?
No, the other veteran.
Michael Thomas?
Claypool.
I mean, I could definitely take Claypool.
What about Mooney?
Too early.
Woof, not for me.
Too early for me.
Claypool over Mooney, but Mooney.
They just took Kyler Murray for us.
How early?
What?
Did they turn the clock on? Did we get auto pick just
I don't
now?
know.
Did it actually happen? Well, that stinks.
That is terrible.
Can you type into there that didn't?
Old Hunter Renfro gets into the 6th round early there. We were just talking about him and his
type into the chat. Be like, we didn't make that pick.
The clock's on now. I just wasn't refreshed. You get 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Well.
Was there a warning that the clock was coming on?
It's fine, Jay Wayne.
No, it isn't. This is ADP.
It's fine. We got Kyler Murray. I don't want him, but that's fine.
Yeah. So, well, we got Kyler taken for us. Refresh the page. Now we're on to 2 minutes a pick here.
Refresh the page. Got to refresh if you're in a draft.
Well, it was already refreshing all the picks. It just didn't refresh that the timer was on. So
yeah.
A little bit of a bummer there, but hey.
So we got to have a Kiwi set.
It's fine.
True.
We got Kyler.
If there's any timer involved, you do have to have that queue, and just in case your internet falls out for a minute, you got to reboot.
There goes Hollywood Brown. He was on the.
All right, so this thing's got 2 minutes a pick now. We should really kind of start rolling here, and we need to be, on our P's and Q's. We'll maybe call it around the 10th round here on the live stream, if this thing picks up, or whenever you guys. We can call it at 9:30 if you want, so we can get out of here, and then I'll just keep drafting. So we got Kyler Murray. There goes Rashad Bateman. I'm kind of up in the air on him. I think you gotta be taking Claypool and Michael Thomas and Hollywood probably before I would take Bateman at this point. Hollywood definitely over Bateman.
Yeah, I'm taking Hollywood over Bateman.
And then Zeke. Is Zeke still out on the board there?
Zeke's still on the board. Going to be.
I know nobody wants Ezekiel Elliott, but
great 1 year, 2 year value here. Definitely 1 year value. There's the tweet I saw about how his points per game were ridiculous last year, and everybody's hating on him because he's got all this cap, hit for the team. But
right, it's not his fault. He had a terrible knee injury, played with this ridiculous brace on his knee for half the season. But before that, he was looking awful fucking spry.
Sure.
And I get it. Tony Pollard's in there, and everybody wants the new thing. And Tony Pollard does look good at times, but they just do different things. And Zeke's a part of what's going on, and they, Zeke's probably going to be getting balls for the next 2 years, pretty heavy in that Dallas offense. And if he can stay healthy, he'll probably be a decent producer for you.
He's definitely going to be a decent producer. Dallas Goedert goes to the team that has all the running backs and just took Darren Waller before that. I'm probably not going to double down on tight end in the middle of the draft like that.
If this was premium,
yeah, different story. Sure. Different story. And I like Goddard. I like Jalen Hurts too. Goddard. I just don't see that being the play.
Right.
Because without it being premium, you probably don't want Goddard in your as a flex.
Right.
If that's and if you do, then you struck gold because now you got a tight end that you can trade, because you're not trading a good tight end if you're winning, and if you got two of them, then you can make a trade, and Goddard's a good one, but there's not a guarantee. It's not like you doubled down and you went Kittle Waller, because they're close enough. You could have, if Kittle and Waller would have made it over there to Ryan McDowell. And McDowell, because he took Hawkinson. If McDowell would have got Waller and Kittle on the turn right there, you could trade one of those guys no matter what, because they're always going to be valuable. Not that Goddard's not, but he's not on that top level yet. If I can get one of those top four guys, if I get two of those guys, I could double down. It would have to be obviously the right situation to invest that much, but I would do it. Freiermuth seems early to me right there. I can't.
Non-premium, probably a little early. He had a connection with Big Ben, but we're bringing in Mitchell. How many guys can Mitchell support? We're not sure who's going to be his guy. We've seen this. We've talked about this multiple times. Yeah. Cooper Kupp was the beneficiary of being Stafford's guy,
right?
So who will be the guy for Mitch?
It's a good question, and it could very well
be Freiermuth.
But if you're looking at your draft board right here and you're getting, hey, sixth round, kind of falling out of the top guys, like you're past your 42 guys or whatever that number is this year, don't be like, hey, I don't have any yellow, Don't be like, oh, I don't have a tight end yet. If Goddard is still there,
don't do like what the computer just did for us. So you don't have any red.
Oh,
so
yeah. Oh, I don't have a quarterback yet. If this is all strategy, every single pick going through here is, do I need a quarterback? Yeah, sure. I needed a quarterback since we got started. Do I have to take one right now? Do I need a tight end? If you need a tight end, it's too late. Right. So this is. Your team, your dynasty team, does not have to be where you want it week one of the first week of the first season that it got put together. That is not how this has to work. Now, this other team we talked about with Kelsey and Josh Allen and Aaron Jones and Najee Harris and Cooper Kupp, and he put Cortland Sutton on there, like, he might be ready week one, but he's also got a 30-something-year-old tight end and Cooper Kupp, who we were all throwing out in the trash last year before the season started because he had a bum knee and he's an old white guy. You know what I mean? So, like, you just – don't get into this, I need to mix up my colors. You go and take the best person for your team build and your strategy and how you like to play it. If you need the best team you can have week one, I get it, but don't be forcing. Freiermuth could go and become a Hall of Famer, but I just feel like that's too early in a non-premium.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so
Big D asked Dak or I had it queued up here. Dak or no, that was Nathan Blewett. My bad. Murray or Dak Prescott.
Murray.
Seeing that we got taken Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I'm fine with Kyle.
Just his running. Like, it just – if I had to go and try to win a game for my team today, if my favorite team was playing, I'd take Dak. But in fantasy, I'm taking Murray because he runs for 70 yards a game when he's healthy.
Here we go. We're 3 away. We got Michael Thomas, Hollywood Brown, Mooney, Chase.
Brown's gone.
Okay, well, he's still on my work list for some reason.
Okay, keep going with the guys we're looking at here.
Hollywood is not gone according to what I'm looking at.
It says M. Brown right after we picked Marquise Brown. There's not another M. Brown, is there? No, that's Marquise Brown. He's gone.
Well, I got Hollywood still available.
Refresh your screen.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, refresh him.
There goes Zeke. There goes Dak.
Zeke would have been a
Mooney, Claypool,
awesome.
Allen Robinson, Michael Thomas, Juju, Kareem Hunt.
Claypool. Just Allen Robinson's not signed. That's exactly why if you're on the clock tonight, just wait till tomorrow if you can.
Right.
Who knows where Allen Robinson's going to sign tomorrow, if he signs tomorrow,
I could definitely take Claypool. He's still there. We could have taken him last pick.
Jameson Williams.
Jameson.
We're up. We got 2 minutes.
Pickens or
I could take Michael Thomas here, and just if Watson goes there, he's up multiple rounds.
That's good. That's going to happen to a handful of players here
for sure. I would take all things even, kind of staying the same. I would take Mooney right now.
All right.
Who do you guys want? We got a couple.
Claypool.
We got a minute 30. We got Juju. We got Claypool, Allen Robinson, Kareem Hunt, Michael Thomas. What you like?
I always take Claypool.
Claypool's still living off that
Four
touchdown game. I told you when it happened. I was like, he's never going to do that again.
Well,
but
easy
his
bet to
team,
make,
I mean, his name is holding that value because he's a huge man. And
we got a minute.
I could take Claypool as hey, this guy might not be on my team first week of the season, but he's a value. He's an asset.
All right, you guys want Claypool?
He might be a guy that I might not even be. He's probably not, even if he's on my team, he's probably not in my starting lineup.
Yeah, I would take a Mooney because I can start him every week.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take Mooney?
No.
You took Claypool?
You guys both, you said, neither one of you said Mooney, so with 3 people, there's, So
Tripod's back in action.
I would have taken Mooney or Michael Thomas there or Allen Robinson. I could have felt pretty good about any of those guys. Juju goes to a good spot.
You want 4 of those guys over Claypool?
Yeah. For sure.
Well, that's when you say I got 4 guys over Claypool over here.
Well, that's okay. You guys both said Claypool, so that's fine with me. I mean, I get the Claypool appeal.
Claypool
almost
appeal.
came down with a lot. Like, feel like there were just a bunch of balls that he just didn't quite come down with this past year. Ben not trying to push it down the field. Nobody's scared of Ben pushing it down the field. Maybe they bring in Willis, Cannon, home runs.
Maybe they can get
We're
Willis.
back in business,
Maybe
baby.
they can get
one
Willis.
play, one major day.
Back in business.
Maybe so.
Gabe
But right now
Davis
we got
next?
Mitchell. So
But right now we got Mitchell.
Yeah, Gabe Davis goes next, A.J. Dillon, and then Lenny. Lenny's creeping up. Lenny is creeping up. He hasn't signed anywhere yet, has he?
nope.
Tommy wants him back.
Big Mike Williams still out there?
No.
No,
he's
he's
out.
gone.
What? Where's he at?
Let's see here.
Last Fat says, "Great to see El
I
Big
see
Co."
see
Tripod,
it. Big
full
Mike
line.
I would have thrown him in the mix there if he was up there, but I saw him go. There, A.J. Dillon, Leonard Fournette. There they go. So now we're getting in that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th roundish area where if you got one running back or you punted on a running back or whatever, I feel good about Lenny. I feel good about Kareem Hunt. I feel good about Chase Edmonds. I feel now you're in a spot where hey, you could be okay and do what Ryan McDowell did there to start this thing off and go, running back less. And I feel like there's some good running backs in here to keep you ready to win right now this year, kind of at this point. And every year, it kind of changes and shifts where you can get the running back values, where it dries up. Last year it didn't seem like it was maybe quite like that. There were some worse stabs going on in that mid late kind of round there. And right now it feels, I don't feel super uncomfortable leaving the top 3 rounds without 2 running backs now. I know we did draft some running backs in this particular draft, but I feel like I can make up a deficit with going with
Kareem
a little
Hunt and
less
Chase
RB,
Edmonds still
right,
out there, and
a little less RB robust.
Sure.
So-
You get your late round James Conner running around getting easier lanes because the defense has to watch Kyler, and all those touchdowns are probably not
Chase is on the
repeatable.
Dolphins.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
Right,
know,
right,
but
right.
Connor's not. I'm not taking Leonard Fournette with Connor on the board. Dalton
Connor,
Schultz.
I got you. Connor, we didn't even mention James Conner. Good call.
Yeah, but like
But yeah, 100%. Good call. That's another one in that list.
So like yeah,
Rashad Penny.
Leonard Fournette. If he can go back to the Bucks and you want to run it back and Tommy's going to throw him all those balls, that's great. But I would like Dalton Schultz is
Just about to eat.
what's breaking my heart. I got 2 in 2 of my leagues. Really good teams for like 2 or 3 years couldn't buy a tight end point. And I feel like both of those really good teams that didn't have good tight ends got Dalton Schultz this year. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? Like that, like when I got my Waller and, I got my stacked running backs and I got Josh Allen and I'm playing my wide receiver game that I love to play and my team's beating your team and because you don't have a tight end and I got Waller and I'm killing you and now you got Dalton Schultz scoring tons of points this year. I'm like, got to be kidding me.
All right, boys, we're coming up again here. A-Rob's still available. Schuster's still available. Chase Edmonds still available.
Like a Kadarius Toney, the sky's the limit.
Love
a
it.
low floor, high ceiling kind of guy. I can't take Leonard Fournette when Kadarius Toney's on the board.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hate on Lenny, but he was basically retired 2 years ago. So whenever you've got a foot out the door, you came back in to play with Tommy.
Yeah, well,
not everybody.
I don't think it was his. I think he got a taste of working hard and being good here. So there goes Pickens, Odell. So A-Rob, Juju, Hunt, Chase Edmonds, Penny, Connor, Brandon Cooks.
I like A-Rob or Hunt.
Me too.
Thielen,
Start
Jarvis.
the list over again. A-Rob or who?
Jarvis.
Kareem Hunt or Juju.
I gotta take A-Rob over Jarvis.
What about No, not Jarvis. Juju. Or
I could take Juju.
Kareem Hunt.
I could Juju for sure. Kareem Hunt's Hunt's best running back on the board.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's those three guys. Oh, what's in the tight end section?
Let's take Hunt and wait to see how far Juju falls.
Okay.
Because I would probably take Juju.
I could get down with Juju for sure.
And again, he hadn't signed anywhere yet, right?
Mike Gesicki get on the board for you. Fant get on the board for you. Unsigned right now, Juju is. So
you at least got your Q set, so if we get auto picked, we're all right.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a couple guys up there.
Ertz, Gesicki, Fant,
I could take
all out there. Alberto's out there.
I can't take Ertz right now, but Ertz will be on every startup team. If I have any startups this year, Ertz will be on all of them.
You want to take Juju or Hunt or Allen Robinson? I could take A-Rob.
I'll take A-Rob.
Take one of them and hope that one of the other two get back to us. See.
We took A-Rob. If I would normally be in a Hunt deal right there, I think, or Juju, but let's see what happens with Juju.
Hunt would give us some breathing room with Spiller if we messed that up, potentially. But
I feel okay. There's Edmonds on the board. There's Penny on the board. There's Connor on the board.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rybread chimes in. He said, Miami just signed Mostert. Does that hurt your valuation of Chase Edmonds? I said,
at this point,
probably
where I'm
not
drafting
too much.
him,
He's so cheap, right? Yeah.
Right. At this point, where I'm drafting him, not really. If Mostert gets out there and gets rolling, great. It does make me, however, feel a little bit better about Elijah Mitchell.
Right. That's what I thought.
Coming back, and Brian tells me that the Niners may take another shot late in the draft, as well as Trey Sermon's probably getting some run this year.
Good for Mostert going and getting back up with the guy that he knows.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Blankenship.
Blankenship, yep.
What's the coach?
Mike McDaniels.
Blankenship.
Where that came from.
We got Christian Kirk out here. Holler at your boy Brandon Cooks, Tyler Lockett.
Talk a little Jags. This is your opportunity.
Let's scroll through this list a little bit here before we're jammed up again.
Are you queuing them up?
Yeah, I'm queuing it. Yeah. Gallup's down here. I love that Gallup went back to the Cowboys there. I mean, obviously a little bit of a late ACL again, but when he's on the field, Dak loves that man.
I was about to say that same thing.
Dak loves
dude.
that man.
Dak, and he's a perfect receiver for Dak too, because Dak is very accurate laying it up down the sideline, and he just drops it in, and Gallup goes up and gets it, and they're really good together. Really good together. Good for them.
All right, so let's keep this. I don't know, go 8 more minutes here, and then go get out of the live stream here.
Yeah, we're an hour and 17 minutes in.
I'll keep going as long as you guys want to go, but I figured 9:30 is probably a good cutoff for you.
Cool.
So we might get another pick or two. So there
Can't
goes
stay home because he hates his wife.
There goes Singletary. So I don't love that, but I mean, if no other running back comes in, then Singletary looking pretty good.
Well, the attempted signing of McKissick tells you exactly what they will fucking want to do, which is not run it.
Yeah, true. I've been fading Singletary since he walked into the league, but he sure looked good down the stretch.
He did.
Well, they just went away from Zach Moss completely and just committed to only using one back when they felt like using a back.
And they also made it look. You finally saw the defenses getting stressed out by Josh Allen. Every square inch of the field had to be that he can throw it farther, and his accuracy being off the charts. He's got these Cole Beasley running all over the place. He's checking it down. He's throwing it deep, and all of a sudden Singletary's getting work done.
So Michael Carter is still out there. Obviously, I didn't put him on any list yet, and we haven't thrown him down there. But I mean, would we have taken Michael Carter over any of the guys over A-Rob? Probably almost have to, huh?
You could, I mean, because if
over
it hits,
positional scarcity, I guess.
If it hits, it hit. Yeah, I mean,
Claypool or Michael Carter.
I mean, I'd probably still take Claypool because he's, A-Rob's 28, 29. He's always been a stud, no matter, the old quarterback-proof wide receiver. Like you said, he was on a 1-year deal. He's like, I'm not going to go out here and tear my knee up and ruin my next big deal playing with the Bears this year with the boys can't get right.
Right.
So, the boys came in trying to start Andy Dalton without taking put Fields on the field. And he did look rookie-ish a couple times when Dalton looked veteran-ish. I get it. And I'm fine with Dave Robb just being like, there's a couple players this year was like, yeah, we're just going to get through this one-year deal. The COVID thing tore the cap up. Let me get my real deal next year. I have no problem with what happened with A-Rob last year, and I think he could come out and just be a monster.
Yeah,
I agree. He always has been. Or he's like, yeah, I'm paid, and last year wasn't.
I think he's still great, and I think last year was just kind of like, hey, I'm a little banged up. I need to go get paid next year. I'm gonna
go get some guaranteed money.
Get the hell out of Chicago.
Let me go get $40 million guaranteed, and then I'll run it out. I'll just go out there and play until I can't play no more.
When does Tony Pollard come into the mix here for you?
People love him so much. He's not a bad pick.
He's not a bad pick. I mean, last year I think he was 9th or 10th round type player. I mean,
it's probably sizing up to be about the same.
I'm there's probably a couple of really good startable every week wide receivers I got to take first, just because Zeke's still here. Based on his contract, he probably gets 2 more years. Pollard might be off the cop. Pollard might even be around. So, I mean, obviously you got that Zeke injury away from Pollard being a year winner, and I get it. So, I mean, I've definitely drafted Pollard myself in the last 2 years in the 9th and 10th round in the startups, and not been that upset about it. It's fine. It's just also another place where you take a chance. Zeke's kind of a play through an injury guy, right? So. And then Dak can run it in and obviously throw it in. So it's not like it's on a team where if Zeke goes down, they got to ride the hell out of Pollard because they just got so many options. I like Pollard a lot. It's just because of Zeke's ability to stay on the field for the most part, I got to make sure that I'm not giving up any surefire startable players. And then maybe once those are gone, he's my first guy I look at.
Yeah.
Like in a non-premium league, I'd probably take Pollard over Dawson Knox on a team that already has Kittle. Right. But Dawson Knox looks great, but it's a tight end.
Yeah, there's also
James Conner.
There's also some running backs or some more rookies out here who I think if offered some of these guys that are being taken right now, you would probably take them over them. Whereas the Jahan Dotsons, maybe the David Bells, Zamir White just went, Rashad White, some of those kind of guys maybe should kind of start creeping up into
the stabs of guys that could, just peak value. Like Brandon Cook's never going to get respected. Same team took Mike Williams in the 7th. He just got Brandon Cooks, and now he's got the turn to get another guy. Goes to quarterback, great Deshaun Watson value. And then Carter goes. That would have been awesome to see him come back to us. But like the Whites, the Johan Dotson you just mentioned, the Pickens,
Jahan.
But
I love the Johan.
Yeah, I thought he was joking.
No, I said Johan. I thought you
Julio
said Johan.
Jones.
Those kind of guys in this area, like there's so many. There's 8 veterans that we like here. Mm-hmm. If you take a rookie here and then you get one of the veterans next, if you can get 2 veterans and you have 2 starters, but there's a reason they're in the 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round because they're disrespected.
Right.
But if you take one of those rookies and they hit, then now you got that somebody's going to be drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round next year, whereas these veterans that are down here usually don't go up there.
Yeah.
They might have been up there before and come down. Brandon Cooks was up there, years ago now. So,
he had chemistry with Mills.
Oh, sure. There's definitely there's a mix. It's not an exact science, and that's why this game is so much fun. There's no really true rhyme or reason why you got to take any player anywhere on the board. It's just hey, where's my people? And there's nothing wrong with taking all young guys and hoping for the best if that's how you want to play it.
All right, we're up in 2 picks here. Probably our last pick of the live deal here.
Johan Dotson.
Juju's still on there. Jahan Dotson's out there. David Bell's out
Gallup.
there.
And
Miles
Kareem
Sanders.
2 good picks.
Miles Sanders seems. I'm usually a hater, but at this point,
Rashad Penny, Edmonds, Juju.
Penny hadn't signed anywhere, has he?
No. Thoughts, comments, concerns?
I'll take a home run.
Christian Kirk.
I'll take Penny here because they never last the next round, that one more round when I'm looking at him in those mocks, and I'm like, I'll get him next. He always goes. Once I say I'll get him next, he never makes it back because somebody else is thinking that. Penny could be the 4-game one-hit wonder this year and never be that good again. But if you catch that lightning in a bottle and all of a sudden he's ripping off those 50-yard runs like he did in college, man, you got to take a chance on that guy.
Miles Sanders, Penny. Wow.
Juju.
I mean, I think
Juju's them? He made it back to us?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let's take him.
Who?
Juju.
Okay.
But I think Penny would have been a penny for your thoughts would have been decent. There goes A-Rod right after that. So Juju made it all the way back to the 9th round there. Obviously isn't signed to anybody. Sky Moore went in between Gallup and Juju. So, I mean, obviously I would have taken Dotson or David Bell over Sky Moore, but he's right in that range there for me. So I like you said, now you're in a good enough range to feel good about taking some stabs on some rookies that could, a lot of the guys, like you said, Big Co, their value isn't going anywhere. You're going to get a starter and a good player, and I'm not upset about that.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of championship teams built from 8 to 12 there,
no doubt.
But if you do take that 1 or 2 rookies in here and you hit on one of them, I mean,
8 to 12 last year. Cooper Kupp, Devo Samuel, championship.
Right. Hollywood Brown for a big stretch there was absolutely
averaging like
ridiculous.
17, 18 points a game for the first 2/3 of the season.
Right. And so, I bet I don't know where Elijah Moore was being drafted last year. I mean, you didn't get him for a huge stretch, or Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I would assume probably, maybe even a little lower than where we're at right now. And those guys
St. Brown in the startup,
were
definitely
catalysts of championship rosters this year, I would say. I mean, Elijah Moore, missed, but from 7 to 13, he was like RB or running or wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
And St. Brown was, absolutely absurd for a stretch there. So, all right. Well, we've gone on for a while. Draft got off to a little bit of a slow start. Wish we could have gotten a little further. We've been on here bending your ear for a while, talking it up, yapping it up. Good to have the old tripod back. We will
enjoyed it.
We're going to finish this draft up in silence because we've done enough talking.
Gonna sit here and not talk.
And we appreciate you guys, and we'll be back real soon. We got John Bauer coming up of the Dynasty Theory. We're gonna probably hit a Superflex rookie mock with him. We got Angelo FF. He's coming on in a week or two, and we got some other good guests lined up for you. We're gonna keep mocking it up. Superflex, 1 QB,
rolling, baby. Let's do it.
Keep talking about some of these other rookies that we haven't quite got to, and as always, we'll be mixing in some veterans.
We talk about some Johan.
Johan. All right. We'll catch you next time.
Peace.